Hello there.
Well, hello there.
That was a nice sustained note.
Huh?
Well,
Oh, a sustained note. A sustained note.
Yeah, you kind of held that one note for a little while. That was nice.
Well, yeah, well. I've been practicing.
Oh.
Figaro. Oh, it's Figaro. I screwed it up.
Whichever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you fail opera.
It's a brutal world out there.
Oh, man.
That opera world. Yeah.
Man, cutthroat.
You know the sound of silence?
Was that it right there?
That was a question. Apparently he does. I was just gonna warn you that there's gonna be the sound of Buble here in a second, but
Oh, Lord. Oh.
there it goes. Okay.
Okay.
It's Memorial Day weekend, so everyone's cracking open a
Little buble.
something. It's a little
Including Michael.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Wouldn't it be ironic if he just never touched this stuff?
Yeah, he's like, nah, I got enough in my name, thanks. I don't want to he doesn't want to open it up for somebody to make that joke. That's the whole reason.
Don't open that can.
No, you didn't want to open that can at all.
We're here all week, folks.
So weird day today.
Speaking of a weird day, on the way here, I coming across I don't know, what is that? Tilden? I don't know. And as I'm approaching the bend, there's a car in front of me that slows down to a stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
no
what's
turn
going
in sight,
on?
right?
No, they just slow down. I mean, they're slowing down, and then they come down to a stop. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And then a car was coming in the other direction, came around the bend also slowly, and then they kind of went by, and then the car, and I'm thinking, okay, there must be wildlife.
Yeah.
Right. So then the car in front of me then kind of goes across the lane to the other lane to go around whatever it stopped for, and then there's nothing there. Right. And then I notice, because I thought, well, maybe there's roadkill or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So then I look, no, there's a big, like big but very flat, not flattened yet, but big and flat turtle, tortoise, whatever you call them, there in the road, and he's very much alive because he's like every once in a while reaching his head out, and then a car will come by in the other lane, and he's like,
No, freak him out again. Yeah. Oh.
and now I'm like, what do I do? Do I just try to go over him? Like, so I was able to. You could go in a straight line because before the turn, but then I'm thinking, I don't know. The guy around in front of me went around him, so then I went around him, and then but there was now like 3 or 4 cars behind me, and then they proceeded to go around too. So now we're all going around, but then there's cars coming down the other way. So I'm like flashing my lights at them because like
the international signal of watch out for turtle. Yeah.
Well, right. I mean, typically it's watch out for the fuzz, but I'm thinking
Turtle cop.
Oh no! The problem is that now if everyone follows the lead of the car in front of me, which I did, they're all going to be crossing into the other lane right after a turn, and potentially be now in the lane of oncoming traffic, while they're avoiding running over this turtle.
Right. Yeah.
So I may have participated, God forbid, I may have participated in a chain reaction that was well-intentioned, but eventually leads to like the injury of a human being.
And that just goes to show how smart turtles are. I mean, clearly this is the beginning of the turtle revolution. And he's like, I got it. If I go out there and I act helpless, they will kill themselves trying to avoid hitting me.
Right. That's what we've come to. That's what we've come to. And it made me think, like, in a world where we have these autonomous vehicles, right? Like, I'm wondering if they would, like, if the technology would eventually develop to the point of being able to see that sort of situation, like, hey, there's a turtle in the road. And, of course, then they'd be able to communicate with the other autonomous vehicles saying, hey, by the way, like, slow down because there's, like, we're dealing with this turtle situation.
Right.
But they would say that in, you know, a data version of that.
Right.
You know?
Turtle equals true.
Right. Right.
I think we have a show title.
But then I don't know whether you like. So in that situation, I think this is like a great, like, would the autonomous vehicles then all agree, like, okay, we're going to stop until this turtle crosses the road? Like, that is the appropriate thing to do.
Yeah.
Or is there something else happening that is going to necessitate us clearing the path? Like, okay, if the cars decide, okay, autonomously, like, this turtle's life is important and it's going and it needs to clear the road, so we're going to stop. Okay, number one, how long do we stop? I don't know. Yeah. Like, that has to be decided upon, right? Like, they have to. Like, is the turtle actually moving? If he's not moving, how long do you give him to move? Do you determine, like, this? This is all assuming that the autonomous, the machines think that the turtle matters anyway, that they've been able to spot him.
Right.
Right. On
the sort of, because it's going to have to prioritize, right? There's going to be somewhere, there's going to be a list of priorities, like human life at the top, and then like structural, keeping things from, banging into something. That would be like next. And then deer is probably in that area. And then like turtle is probably farther down the list, and that's a shame.
Oh, so you think a deer is below the? You think a deer's above turtle in that? You think?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is, because I think that also plays into the whole, like, keep the car from getting damaged thing.
Got it.
Whereas the turtle may not. I mean, unless it's a really big turtle.
No, it's not damaged. No.
Then it's gonna cause you to sort of jostle as you drive over it, but it's not going to cause any damage. I mean,
but here's the thing: this is people are rolling their eyes right now. But in a world where
to be clear, I do not want the turtle to be driven over. I feel that bad. I currently feel bad for the turtle you're talking about, and I haven't never met him. So
yeah, he's probably squished.
Yeah,
but they do move fast. I've seen these guys move fast.
Yeah, if they want to.
It's a bit of a charade. Yeah, and I'm thinking, like, hey, buddy, now's the time to move quickly.
Yeah, here's the time to bust through those stereotypes that people have for turtles and show them that there's more to you than just being the slow and steady wins the race guy from that one fable. You can actually be, find your inner rabbit, maybe perhaps even find your inner ninja, and because it's there, and then take maybe do a flip, off of the thing. You bring that ninja out and get out of there.
I mean, heroics aside, I think that he. What I was thinking in terms of eye rolling is that I think there's people listening who are thinking, like, why are you even worried about this? It's a turtle. Just just drive.
Yeah, no.
Or that people would even care about, like, prioritizing the turtle over the deer or whatever. But that is going to happen, right? There's going to be like a committee set up of some sort that is similar to. Look, I forget what it's called. In the United States, it's NIST, but there's an international body that agrees upon weights and measures and things, and they get together on a regular basis to make tweaks and so forth, and in a world where there's also a committee already established that gets together regularly to talk about what emojis to introduce.
Yeah.
Pretty sure this conversation is going to happen. Like, where does the turtle rank in terms of the avoidance the automotive avoidance system.
Right.
Like that, undoubtedly, at some point in the future, probably relatively near future, that conversation is actually going to happen.
Now, what I look forward to is the point a little bit past that, where we start putting the Jetsons robot arms under the front of the car, that like when you do run into something like a turtle or perhaps some other bit of helpless wildlife that won't get out of the road of its own accord, they'll kind of scoop it up and put it over on the side, and then you continue on. I think that would be that would be the best, I think.
Or maybe
and
they just
then
need
give it a little pat on the head and say,
or what they need is little wildlife bumpers, so that along the road. I mean, this never work in Florida.
Like have you ever noticed on the front of trains?
What have you never noticed in Florida, like how you're just driving down the road and they don't have sidewalks pretty much anywhere except for in developments here,
right?
Because the developers are obligated by code to install those. And for our British friends, I'm speaking of pavements. On the main roads there are no pavements, there are no sidewalks, and for whatever reason, and it's a good thing probably because you'll see these tire marks off the side of the road all over the place. Mm-hmm. Like people just drive off the side of the road.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen it anywhere else, but it happens here. And so this would be a problem. What I'm suggesting is this would be kind of like a lane bumper, like you know how when you're bowling with children, you get the bumpers put in.
Oh, yeah.
So they can't have gutter balls. So this would kind of be the opposite. So that would be like keeping the turtles and other things out of the road, so they don't have the ability to cross the road. But you'd have to also then create little like tunnels for them
in certain tunnels or
spots,
turtle overpasses.
Right, that would be more difficult.
But it would be more entertaining, though. I mean,
but they have for anyone who's also rolling their eyes again now. I kid you not, in Southern California, I know this is not going to be a shock by saying Southern California, but in Southern California, they have installed bridges not for pedestrians but for mountain lions.
Yeah. That's cool.
Because they need to be able to get because the freeway system has like disrupted their ecosystem, and you don't want mountain lions trying to cross the highway. Like that. Yeah.
And how awesome would that be? Seeing mountain lions like going over the road while you're going under it. That'd
not
be
distracting
awesome.
at all.
No, but it'd be cool. Hey, check it out, mountain lions.
I think you'd have to put some kind of like barrier up so you can't see it, so we don't cause an accident with people like stopping to watch the mountain lion cross over.
The mountain lion in like the tracksuit with the thing that he's like he's out jogging today and he's going across the thing. That'd be awesome.
Oh, look, he's wearing Pumas.
That was good.
So I'll let you know later if I see it or not.
So I was thinking in my car I've got the little radar thing, and it's got icons for different types of cars that are around you, and then it also has icons for not only motorcycles and bicycles but just pedestrians. Like there's a little dude icon that'll go across your screen if there's a guy crossing in front of you. And I was thinking it'd be kind of cool that start getting more granular with that, and you get down to there's a dog, there's a cat, there's a squirrel, and hey look, there's a turtle.
Yeah.
And it's
or
like,
possum.
Watch out, turtle.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Or if you could make your own icon, like install your own icons, like you can on Waze.
See, that would be cool. Yeah.
Like, select your representation for a person.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Half skirt, half not, like a unisex.
A Scotsman or.
Oh, they have like on the bathrooms, like that's the sign for a unisex bathroom.
Yeah.
In California, they have so it's like half. It's weird.
It's like one of those performance art guys that's like, one side of him is made up to look like Sonny, and then the other side of him is made up to look like Cher, and then he's like switches back and forth singing "I Got You, Babe."
Exactly. That would be fun.
Somebody has to have done that. I can't have made that up just now.
You mean hack their system, or no? I've done that in a performance.
Done half and half, Sonny and Cher.
Oh,
surely, got to be.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Probably multiple.
Now
people.
I want to look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, not right now,
because we'll never come. There's no going back from that.
That's true. In so many ways, there's no going back from that.
You just keep that rabbit hole runs deep. Whew, all the way to China.
That is a rabbit trench right there.
Have you ever looked at those things where there is an app for that, where, or maybe it's just a website, where if you pick a point on the Earth and you were to tunnel from that point, it shows you like where you'll pop up.
Oh, like straight through the Earth?
Yeah.
There was way back before YouTube even existed, there was a guy that did a daily vlog, named Zay Frank. And one of the things, he would have these little weird contests, and one of the things he had going on was make the Earth a sandwich. And basically what you would do is somebody somewhere would get in touch with a person on the exact opposite side of the planet, and both of them would take a picture at the same time of a piece of bread on the ground so that the Earth would be a sandwich. And so he had this cool little thing that he coded that, you find where you are, and then it would show you where the other side of the Earth was from that point.
But then you'd have to find somebody who would get a piece of bread out and
yeah. And somebody finally did it. And I think it was in it was like Australia versus like Europe or something like that, maybe.
Because most of the time States, it's going to be water, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like nobody in the United States practically would be able to do it because the other side of this is the Indian Ocean. But
how do you figure that? I mean, is it still around? Is it?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's from like 2000, but I think he's got him up on his YouTube channel now. But yeah, this is way before YouTube. They're tiny. They're little. It's called The Show with Zay Frank.
This guy's like, give me a moon. He's like mooning me. This is a website called Antipodes, Antipodes map.com. And I don't know why. It's a guy like literally looks like he's attempting to do a headstand, but he's got his feet firmly planted on the ground still. And basically his butt's up in the air.
No. I don't know how that helps anything, but cool.
It's weird. Yeah, but I mean, weird. You're right. But there's this thing where I don't know. Apparently, you can't. So you can put your zip code in. I guess your address. You could be very specific if you wanted to. And oh no, that's not right. Oh really? So if I put in 3, let's see, 3, and then I hit find. Okay, and then so where does that put me? Oh, is that his head popping on the other side? I think it's his head popping on the other side, and I think you're right. It puts us in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
Just off of coast of Perth, basically. Well, not just off, but like a ways off.
Yeah. I would think.
So I think you're right. Yeah, most of the U.S. would just be out there in the middle. Maybe Maine might hit like Malaysia or something. Maybe, possibly. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, there's some bits around the edges.
It's going to be a very wet sandwich.
Yeah. No good. It's going to be one of those this kind of like open face roast beef sandwiches where the bread on the bottom is like, why is it even there? Because it's like by the time you get to the bread, it's like a brown sponge that has disintegrated.
Yeah, even in California, you're out in the there's
just a lot more water out there.
There's a lot of water out there. Yeah. So that rabbit hole goes deep into a bit of water. Apparently.
Yeah, it does. It gets really, really soggy. That explains why the Japanese word for rabbit is usagi. I don't know.
Okay. If only that was true. That's not true, right?
It is true.
No, it's
rabbit.
not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
That's too convenient.
It is.
It's almost
That's
like
why I
everything
said
we've
it.
done has reached to this. Like we deliberately led
It's all been a build up
just
to
to this point. Exactly. And now we're not it. That's it.
2 years of
The rabbit hole.
podcast culminates today. USAGI. Usagi. Yep.
Usagi. He means rabbit. I am gonna so work that into a joke somehow.
There's a cartoon about a rabbit samurai called Usagi Yojimbo, which means rabbit bodyguard. But
Yojimbo means bodyguard.
Mm-hmm. There's also a Yojimbo.
I feel
and
like
it's
you just
there's
messing with me.
Akira Kurosawa film about samurai that's called Yojimbo. Toshiro Mifune.
Right.
Mifune. But anyway.
I-
There you go. That's your Japanese word for the day. Is usagi.
I'm so confused. I don't even. I can't even.
Well, that's because we're recording on Saturday afternoon and we don't ever do that. So it's kind of throwing
weird,
everybody
right?
off. It is weird.
It's really weird.
I don't know why it's so weird, but it is.
There's something about the state of mind that you're in at certain times of
it
day.
is,
I think, and like I know when I'm working, which is rare, but when I'm working and it's like there's certain things I like to do at certain times of day. There's certain I don't really like to have meetings in the morning at all. Mostly because I'm not ready for people.
Mm-hmm.
But by the afternoon, I've kind of geared up, and I've got about a 4-hour window of time, of tolerance that I can do that sort of thing. And then in the evening, like late, there's a point where I'm kind of done. But if I push past that, then I'm really it's really wired after that. Like,
oh yeah, I know what you mean. Like you have trouble going to sleep and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot to me. Like I'll get tired at an odd time. I mean, especially if I'm relatively sleep deprived, which is normal. But if I'll get tired around it's weird, like somewhere between 8:30 and 9:30 at night.
Mm-hmm.
But it's too early to go to bed. It feels like I can't go to bed now.
Yeah.
Like it's like if I go to tell Henry I'm going to sleep and it's 8:45, he's gonna laugh at me. Like, okay. Yeah. Whatever, old man.
Yeah.
But then if I push through, it's like 10, 15, 10:30. Now I'm awake again.
Right. It's like your body was going, well, I guess we're up. So
Yeah. Go. I guess. Yeah, we're staying up.
Nothing
now.
for
it. Like with next train will be here at 11:30.
Right. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Thanks for that.
And another thing, time of day thing is if I'm doing like work, not meetings and stuff, but like doing a task, like a analysis or a whatever. Like the morning is the time for that for me.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Yep. And like even get a little past lunch perhaps, but if for some reason then my morning has been filled up with meetings and I have to start something at like 1:30 or 2, it's like I don't get near about the momentum going.
No.
If
just
I
wait
get
till
it
tomorrow
at all.
At that point.
Yeah.
Just wait till tomorrow. Yeah.
That's the thing is like I can sit here and I can stare at it and I can be like, I guess this. But I mean, I don't know that I'm going to be doing like the quality of work at that point is not going to be terribly great. And so, like you said, if you just wait till the next morning, whatever you were about to do for 3 hours, you'll nail in half an hour in the morning. So
when I was in college, the way that I hacked that, because you can't really control your day that much in college where you're taking courses and you have to take, especially as you're getting higher and higher level, you have to take certain courses and you take them when they're
section
offered.
every 3 semesters. And so
that's it.
Whenever you're taking it.
Whenever it is, exactly. And so, and I wasn't, I would probably get on the average, because I was working and interning and going to school full time and I was commuting to school. So it was like, there's a lot of time suck in the day.
Yeah.
I was probably getting 5 hours of sleep per night, which I think was fine at that time.
Yeah, you can do that crap when
I would nap. but I would strategically nap, and it was a way a way for me to like hack this. So, especially like early afternoon, when I would have this period of time where there weren't any classes happening, that's when I had to get like study done and stuff, catch up on reading and things. And so what I would do is I would read or whatever I needed to do for about 20 minutes. 20 was it 20 or 440? Something like, I think it was 40. I would do it for like 40 minutes. That's what it would be. I would do it for 40 minutes, and then I would take a 20-minute nap.
Like in the library?
Wherever, man.
Or wherever you were.
Like, for me, like, if I could even be like in a thoroughfare, as long as I had a desk that had like the little walls to it of some sort, like the little like cubicle desk, I could. So what I would do is ideally it's in the library, and I would go down to like the lower level where no one goes or something.
One of the stacks or something.
Exactly. And at Hopkins, when Michelle went to school, they called it the throat level. And their library was weird because their library it was all underground. So it was like 2 floors above ground and everything else was underground.
Wow.
And I don't know why they called it throat level. There must be some reference. And basically it was the people who had no lives and they just studied all the time. They called it throat. I don't know why. That's what they called it. Anyway, so the equivalent at my school, we had which was mostly above ground, but I would still go to the one below. And but it could be anywhere. And I would take my bag, my book bag, and I would wrap the strap around my leg, so that if somebody went to grab it, they'd be dragging my leg off with it too. And then I would take my legs and I'd wrap them under the front legs of the chair.
Okay.
Like
hooking them
under. Yeah. Like, right. Then I would lay my head down on the desk, like kind of like arms across and like head down like this, forehead like kind of on my forearm, so as not to mess up my hair.
Right.
And also not to leave face marks.
Yeah, that's rough.
Because you don't want to wake up with like your face like, because you don't want to be that guy, right?
No.
And we didn't have headphones at the. I mean, I guess I could have had a Walkman or something, or whatever. It wasn't like that. I just laid my head down, and then I don't know how this happened, but I would just wake up after 20 minutes. So I'd sleep for 20 minutes. I kind of wake up in a panic, I think, thinking like, oh no, have I slept too long? I look at my watch. Oh, no, it's been 20 minutes. And then I start back to whatever I was doing. And that allowed me like enough of a cycle that I was able to just kind of always feel like in the game.
Yeah.
I never felt like too tired because every 40 minutes I'm taking a nap. So it's fine.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, the 20-minute nap is perfect. And I could do that thing where if I go over that into getting like close to half an hour, even like just a little bit more, I guess I've gone into another stage of sleep or whatever. And if I wake up during that, then I'm like, it's like trying to climb out of a swimming pool full of molasses. I'm like, and I'm groggy and I'm hating life. But if I can keep it in that 20 minutes, then I'll be good.
I've heard of people taking like coffee naps or espresso naps or something like that, where they'll like shoot an espresso and then take a nap, and then by the time the espresso kicks in, it wakes them up, and then they're ready to go again.
I haven't heard of that. That's pretty cool. That makes sense. I know that my grandfather Pete, when he would need to take a nap and want to make sure that he woke up at a certain time, he would light a cigarette and put it in his fingers at a certain distance from the end, that he had figured out how long it takes for that cigarette to burn down, and like however long he needed to nap, he would extend it that far outside and let it burn down while he was sleeping, and it would like burn his hand and he'll wake up.
That's so weird.
And it would be, and he was somebody that could fall asleep anytime, anywhere, just by will alone.
That's a superpower.
No matter what's going on. Like there was times like in Korea when he was like, all right, we're going to assault that hill or
we need
whatever.
to sleep.
And he would go around and he would check, and everybody was ready, and they had, 30 minutes before it was go time. So he'd just sit down and take a nap. Like right
That's
before
Qui-Gon,
a
that's
battle.
like Qui-Gon Jinn stuff. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's crazy.
And then somebody's like, how can you sleep like that? It's like, well, nothing else to do. I've checked everything. We're all good. Right. And they're not like, no, that's not what I'm asking. I was like, I don't understand. There's nothing else. Like, why would I not? It's like, I'm like, how can you? But,
right. I remember back in, when was it when did the attempted coup happen in the Soviet Union against Mikhail Gorbachev? That was August of 91. I don't remember the exact. I want to say it's the second or third week. So people can check my math later. I think the third week of August 91 is what I'm going with, is when the attempted coup of Gorbachev happened. And it was the same night that a hurricane, a relatively weak hurricane, but a hurricane nonetheless, was striking the mid-Atlantic.
Oh, okay.
And I was in Ocean City, Maryland, and it was the first summer vacation where I rented my own condo.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Michelle's family was down. It was vacationing there too, and so they were like a block away or something. And I remember this hurricane was going to be hitting overnight, but it wasn't so much. It wasn't such a bad hurricane that they were evacuating or anything. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't probably like a Category 1 or something. Mm-hmm. And so I remember going to one of her family, like very close family friends, they referred to as like uncles and aunts and that sort of thing. It was at their condo, and it was late, and we're all like kind of watching the news, and everybody else had gone to sleep except like her one uncle, quote unquote uncle, an aunt, and we were like just sitting around watching CNN, watching the weather, and I remember I like went up to the beach once or twice just to kind of see what it was like, and then it was windy, big surprise, and then came back, and sitting in there and watching the news, and I remember her quasi uncle sitting in this chair with I don't know if it was a beer or some sort of drink, something in his hand, and he was it was like dang, he has like his arm resting on the armchair, the can like in the top of the can gripped in his claw like hand shape, right? Mm-hmm. Just resting there. He was sound asleep. He was at one point pretty sure he was snoring. And I remember looking, it must have been a glass, because I remember looking over to his wife and saying, do we need to worry about that? Like, should we take that away? Because and she's like, oh, no, he's fine. He's like,
he's fine.
He's asleep, but he has this like
doesn't look fine.
Grip, but he has a grip on his drink.
It's a sleep drinker.
Yeah, it was weird. And then he would wake up like, oh, okay, and take a drink. What the heck is happening? I'll never forget. That was the strangest thing. But it kind of reminds me of, like you're talking about Pete. Like I'm wondering if there was this, like maybe he felt it like a little slippage, and that's when he woke up. Like, oh, I got to wake up and take my drink. I don't know. It's weird. Like, why wouldn't you just put it on the table?
Another thing Pete would do was whenever he was taking us down to Disney World, we would be, since we were doing our trip, it was rope drop to closing every day, and on the fourth or fifth day we would go back, and as part of our trip we would stop by Navarre Beach, Florida, and have like a couple days at the beach and then go on home, right? And so what we would do is Epcot would always be our last day, and we would be leaving out after closing, and he would drive through the night until we got to Navarre Beach, and we would be there like in the morning. And he would take a nap, like while we were all doing our thing at close to the end. He would be in Earth Station take it. There's this little area that's over close to where the ride lets out that has the windows into the let out area. And there's this, there was this sort of big, I don't know what you call it. It's sort of where that window is recessed. It was a big flat sort of area with some of this dark blue tile on there. And he would lay on that and take a nap in the middle of Earth Station. And nobody ever bothered him or anything, and he was fine. But I guess maybe cast members that saw him were like, yeah, I get it. but nobody ever bothered him, and he did it like every year. But what was great is that there was one night when he was sleeping there, and apparently 2 kids had gotten over there, and they were like looking at him, and he said he could hear them, like just them farting around close to where he was, kind of woke him up a little bit, but he didn't act like he was awake.
Yeah.
And so he heard him, and he said he was dying laughing because they were like, "Is he dead?" It just kind of really laughed at it. And
is he real? Story. Is it a mannequin?
It reminds me of that guy, animatronic guy.
Yeah, exactly. He should have been like, like he started like telling a story.
It's like, what year is it? Oh, around the turn of the century.
Wow, I went into hibernation in the year 19.
Oh, I sure do like being on this airplane Earth.
Yes. Do they still have sarsaparillas?
We're drinking root beer now.
What I would give for a nice mulled wine right about now.
I mean, we blew the fuse. But yeah, and that's the other thing is like I have a hard time catching any kind of sleep in a public area like that. Like if like there's been plenty of times when I've had like an extended layover somewhere, and I might be like, I certainly can't do it in the airport, but even if I'm in like the Admiral's Club or something like that, where it's a little quieter, a little more sort of calm, and people kind of don't goof with you or whatever.
Unlike no one's going to take your stuff. It's unlikely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not worried about any of that stuff
because you have to give blood samples and everything to get into the place.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And but that's I can't even like I can sleep on a plane, which ostensibly is less private. That's
amazing. Actually, that you can do that.
But in this area where I can be off by myself in the corner or whatever, I don't know. I won't say I can't go to sleep, but it's going to be difficult. And I'm not.
Is it because you're afraid of missing your flight or something?
I don't know what it is really. I think it's just the environment. I don't think that because I have like alarms set for my flight if I need it. I have that even if I don't go to sleep.
When I would go to, but you have to trust the alarm. There's that. You have to trust the alarm.
Yeah, I've gotten to where I do though because I use it. Well, I don't know. I say I use it every morning, and I do, but I'm up at 6 whether I have the thing on or not.
When I have to fly, I will set like at least 3 alarms on my phone.
Yeah,
at least, absolutely, and I'll check it probably 16 times.
That's when I have the hardest time sleeping. Correct. Is when I know I have to be up for something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's why I prefer to not travel first thing in the morning because it's just too much stress.
Yeah, it really
is. And you have to be quiet. Like, don't wake anybody up and blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
you gotta do the ninja.
I hate it. But I remember when I was interning and then working in DC and taking the MARC train. Take the MARC train from
the what?
It's got for the people for like the 2 people from Maryland listening, they'll understand what I'm talking about. The MARC train is MARC, was like the Maryland. I don't know what it stood for anyway. I would take the MARC train from Martin State Airport Station to DC, to Penn Station in DC. Union Station, not Penn Station, Union Station. Sorry. And then. But that was the last stop. Like, you couldn't go further than Union Station. That's it. It terminates there. So I could get on the train, and then I would just sleep. I just prop like something up against the window, and I would just sleep. And I would hear every once in a while, like they would announce the next stop or something, like where was the one station that I was like, why? How is that possibly the name of this place? It wasn't Laurel. It wasn't. It was like I don't know. It'll come to me later. But I would sleep through these most of the time, and somehow I would just wake up when he said Union Station, and it was fine. Now on the way back, I would still try to sleep because the way back it was probably 8 o'clock at night or so. But Martin State Airport was not the last station. If I missed that, I'm going up to Havre de Grace, which is way north, way north, and there's no getting back at that point. There's no Uber or anything. You're done. So I
would that be like the last train? Like you couldn't get out there?
It was maybe, it depended on how late it was. Sometimes there was a later train, but I would still sleep, but kind of like with one ear open, kind of thing. And so whenever I heard the Baltimore stop, that was like the stop before my stop, but it was a good stretch. And there was a tunnel. You had to go through a tunnel, so there was a lot of jostling and and the noise and the lights and stuff. And so that did an effective job of waking me up. But I remember thinking like at that when I heard Baltimore, then I just got up, and I actually would get up and go and stand in between the train cars to get because I also don't want to wait in line or anything. So I would just get up and go. And that was just kind of fun too. Like I never really thought about what happens if the car derails, God forbid, right now.
Yeah, I think you're more or less
not
screwed
a
no
good
matter what.
spot to be though, between the cars. Probably not a good spot.
I don't know. It might be a perfect spot.
Why?
Like the one car train goes one way, the one goes the other way, and you're just kind of thump down in the
football, right? Yeah, thump, slap, crunch.
Turns out that's the pro move.
Turns out the body makes all sorts of sounds when it's
because nobody wants to try to do that.
Yeah, they probably don't test that with test crash dummy thing. They don't put them in.
It's like there are no scientific studies that prove that parachutes save your life. Because in order to do a scientific study, you would have to have a control group that jumps out of the plane without the parachute to see if they die or not. So there are no scientific studies even though we know they do, of course they do, but you can't conduct an actual scientific study of it because a control group would be murder. You'd be murdering people.
Who was I talking to about this recently? Maybe it's better that I don't remember who it was. I was talking to somebody recently about dreams of flying. Were you there with me? Where they dreamed that they can fly, but in their dream, they use their hands.
Like they flap their
arms.
Maybe
it was somebody at work or something. Yeah, they flap like a bird.
That sounds awful.
Well, I'm thinking. I don't remember who it was. It was a work person. So I remember, and they were telling me this. I'm thinking. I said, what? That doesn't make any sense. Why? If you're already going to defy the laws of physics in your dream, why do you have to flap? Right? Why can't you just will it like Superman or something? Why do you have to flap?
And
why is your brain thinking oh, this works? I'm cupping enough air with my hands that somehow
I get the lift.
I get the lift. What is that? That's not the way it works.
And I feel bad for whoever is sleeping in the bed with them because if for some reason you have one of those nights where your body hasn't turned that off yet and you're flapping over there.
Oh, you're swimming again, or you're flying again, or whatever. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's like the sort of when you get your flying dream from wish.com. It's like, okay, you can fly, but you gotta it's like the
wait, is wish.com a thing? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, it's like a place where you get super duper discounted crap merchandise.
Including dreams?
Yes, including dreams.
Power of suggestion. Imagine if you
wish.
Yeah. Wish. Dream Wish. I wonder if that's taken, like dreamwish.com. Like you could.
Oh, surely.
We could come with something, I think, unique enough where.
Dream.
Yeah, if there's a dream that you want to have, we'll sell it to you. It's purely the power of suggestion. But
we're getting into some like Philip K. Dick territory here.
Excuse me? What? What? Come again?
Philip K. Dick is a science fiction author, and he wrote things like "We'll Remember It For You Wholesale," which Total Recall was based on. And
right, but this isn't real science. This is
more of a
snake oil. But not snake oil in the sense, because we're not like pretending that it's like anything but the power of suggestion. But the trick is to convince them enough, like that see through. It is power of suggestion. That's the whole point. It's a dream, but we ritualize it. So by doing these things,
like giving us money,
you make it more likely. No, we have them do other things. Maybe we provide them with.
Well, I think if they put
an
money
audio
in it,
tape,
then they have like financial skin in the game, and that might also make it a lot more real for them.
Right, and you have to listen to this tape beforehand, and it has a certain like wavelength, sort of alpha, whatever the waves are that they listen to, and then of course we whisper in their ear like, "You can fly, you can fly,"
but you have to flap your arm.
Right.
Just remember, flap your arms. It's really tiring. It's gonna kind of suck. It helps if you start from a high position. Stay hydrated.
And it could be one of those things like a money back guarantee. So if they don't actually get the dream after a certain length of time, then they get something back or something.
Yeah, but they have to prove it.
There would have to be they'd have to pay for shipping because they have to send all the stuff back.
Yeah.
And by the time they do that, they don't want to do that because the shipping's going to cost like marginally as much as the thing that they purchased. So then you're going to still make your money. Like even on the returns.
And the key is we won't just sell the service. We'll also give them the opportunity to start selling the service themselves.
Oh no! Now we're pyramid dreaming. That's great.
That's what we call the pyramid dream. In fact, isn't the podcast about MLMs called The Dream? I think it is.
That's great. I was thinking more like we could go into this other direction about you could start like the equivalent like a mastermind group around this, like for an extra amount of money per month, you can have a group meeting with people who are like attempting to have a similar dream and talk about your experience and what works and what doesn't work. And man, by the time they've spent the money, engaged in conversation, listened to tape, they're having this dream. There's no chance they're not having. And if they don't have.
And if they have a dream about being in a group talking about the dream, that counts.
This has legs, I think.
I think it does,
This could definitely... the more I think about it, the more I'm enjoying this. Because you could have a separate group for every kind of dream. You like flying is that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, you could have one about sailing. You could have one about,
being an adventure guy or
being a lima bean.
Being a lima bean. That's a little cliche, but yeah.
Wait, why? Why? Why is that cliche?
Oh, who hasn't had the dream about being a lima bean? Come on. Not pinto bean, that's different.
We'd start getting letters from people who say, I know you have like the whole lima bean group and you have the corn group. Have you considered doing like a succotash where we could get together?
Get them together, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I like the idea of the lima bean dream, but I don't know that I want to get that specific. Do you have just like a greater sort of legume kind of dream? Where I might go into Black Eyed Pea territory.
Oh, that's great. Yes.
I don't know why he's suddenly a Jewish man from the Bronx.
talking
I
about
like
Black
the
Eyed Peas.
dream there. That sounds
that's-
great. But can we move out into perhaps something in the, I don't know,
Bagel.
bake? That was you. That was not me. Letters go to you.
Locks. I think. I mean, there could be all sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like this.
If you can dream it, we can do it.
If you can dream it, we can.
That's our slogan.
If you can dream it, you can dream it.
If you can dream it, we can make you dream it.
We can suggest it.
You want to be that lima bean? This is where you start down that road.
Oh yeah, you could even have
the
somebody
lima
like,
dream.
It could be like the. It could even be like the diapers. Like you could have a dedicated person that they can call.
Yeah, dream
talk
consultant. Yeah.
Dream consultant. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hey, Bob. Got. Yeah, I'm getting ready for bed, and I'd like to really kind of be in the best state of mind for this thing.
Yeah,
What do you, suggest?
what can we do for you tonight? What dream can we are you thinking you might want?
Well, they'd have to buy one of these rings. They'd have to buy one of these ring things, right?
that's true.
Because we have to make sure that their body temperature is at the ideal for sleep, that is a scientific thing. So what's your room?
Body
What's your ambient
temperature,
room temperature? What's your let's get you really like in the best possible situation. Let's set you up for success here, for dreaming.
So we get them like an electric blanket type thing that would be controlled
No, that's too much
remotely.
liability. Too much liability.
Well,
No.
top temperature wouldn't be much, but we would be able to control it remotely. We're like, see, like we sort of steer them.
That seems like a lot of work, though.
Temperature a little. Well, they're paying for this service, and like this might be the premier concierge service where
We actually
you get bespoke body temperature
Bob
manipulation
in your house, and he he takes your temperature throughout the night. And
He's up and down in the
He's got a little fan,
thermostat as you go. It's like, whoa, a little too hot. Now I'm bringing. There you go.
but that's the best because to aid with the sense of dreaming, he literally has the fan
Oh,
to make you feel as like
if you're flying. Yeah. Now, if you're dreaming you're a lima
sounds.
bean, I don't know what the hell he's supposed
And he
to
can make
do.
a little whisk like.
Yeah, well, once you get it,
come back down.
It works with the flight. Yeah, but I don't know about the lima bean.
Well, that's where we start. You start with the flight.
That's level 1.
I think that's yeah, and then we expand from there. Like you start with the flight. It's like
lima
the
bean's
Model
like
T.
level 10. That's
It's like
pretty.
the Model T. It came in black, and that was it. And it took a little bit of time before they expanded into other colors. So it was if Henry Ford could do it, I think. Who are we to not think we could do it?
I bet you car painters made a killing back then.
Don't you think they got confusing though? Like, I'm sorry, are you a carpenter? No, I'm a car painter. No,
Yeah, car painter.
I think you build houses. No.
No.
I paint.
I take cars and make them other colors than black.
I'm a car painter. That's a carpenter. No.
I'm a vehicle hue specialist.
Little known fact: Karen Carpenter's grandfather used to paint cars.
No, that works. That works.
That's right. But it got so confusing. He
And
just
by the same
changed
logic, so did she, I guess.
That's I'm sorry. What were you saying about car painters?
I was thinking that they must have made a killing back when the Model T was the only car. It's because not everybody's going to want the black one. So, hey, I can make that thing red if you want. That was when Earl Scheib was born. Then I guess.
Who's Earl Scheib?
I mean, I heard of Earl Scheib. It was
car painter.
Yeah, it was a chain of auto paint shops back in the 80s.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Were they any good?
Apparently. and they would paint your car for, what was it, $39.95.
Oh, there's no way that's lasting. Come on, no possible way that paint is staying on longer than a month. You go through a car wash one time, that's gone.
That's
like a gallon of paint almost costs that much. Like, how is it possible? Even in the 80s, how is it possible?
I don't know what the actual price was, but it was the price was something like that, where he would buy $99.95, or something like that. I don't know, it was $399.95 or whatever, but it was something $99.95. Yeah.
You could have a new colored car every couple of months if you wanted.
That's true. And why not? That reminds me of what was it, Cannonball Run or something, where the where the Lamborghini was white, and then it pulled in and they just sprayed it with water, and then it all came off and it was red underneath. Yep. And it was like, well, now it's a red Lamborghini, like in Kansas. Like, how is it that's disguising anything?
Right. The license plate was still the same.
Right. And it was still a stinking Lamborghini out in the middle of nowhere. So it's like, chances are that's the same car.
We're looking for a red Lamborghini. You said
red?
Oh, okay. There's a white Lamborghini. Okay, so it's white. Yeah, that I understand.
It's like in the Muppet movie, where it's like, we're looking for a rust-colored Studebaker. We're looking for a bear and a frog and a rust-colored Studebaker. All I see is a bear in a car and a rainbow-colored Studebaker.